The rain was coming down hard that night, sharp, cold drops hitting the cracked windshield of Michael's old pickup truck. He wasn't supposed to be out this late. Not after his shift at the mechanic shop. But something in his heart wouldn't let him drive past what he saw on that lonely highway. A car sat sideways in a ditch, headlights flickering like dying fireflies. Smoke rose faintly from under the hood. He slowed down, instincts kicking in, the instincts of a soldier who had once been there, on the edge between life and loss. He pulled over, jumped out into the mud, and sprinted to the car. Inside, a woman bleeding, scared, clutching two crying little girls in the back seat. Her uniform was torn. Her left leg, twisted. But it wasn't just her injury that broke him, it was the way those twins, no older than 6, were holding her hands, whispering, "Mommy, please wake up." Michael's voice shook as he opened the door. "Ma'am, I'm here to help. I'm a veteran. You're safe now." The woman tried to speak, her lips trembling. "My girls, please, take care of them." He didn't hesitate. Within minutes, he had called for help, wrapped her wound with his own shirt, and carried the twins to his truck to keep them warm. He didn't know who she was or where she came from. All he knew was that she wore the same insignia he once did. At the hospital, doctors took her in. The nurse later told him she'd lost a lot of blood, and that she'd been traveling alone with her daughters from a nearby base, heading home after being discharged due to an injury in combat. Michael stayed that night in the waiting room with the twins. They clung to him like they had known him forever. Maybe because they saw something familiar in his eyes, pain, strength, and a tired kind of kindness. When morning came, the girls finally asked, "Mister, are you a soldier too?" He smiled softly. "I used to be. Now, I fix engines instead of flying them." The smaller twin whispered, "Mommy said soldiers never stop helping people." That line hit him harder than any battlefield memory ever had. Hours later, the nurse approached him again, saying the woman, Sergeant Grace Turner, was awake. Weak, but alive. Michael went in quietly, holding his cap in his hands. She looked at him with tear-filled eyes. "You saved my daughters." He shook his head. "They saved me, ma'am. I was starting to forget what it meant to help someone again." She smiled faintly. "You remind me of my brother. He never came home from the war." Something inside him shifted. Maybe it was fate, or maybe just the strange way life brings broken souls together at the right moment. He visited her every day after that. Fixed her crutches. Brought coloring books for the twins. Cooked them dinner at his small home. Slowly, the quiet veteran's house, once filled with silence, started echoing with laughter and tiny footsteps again. But what happened next would change his life forever. The next morning, as he was cleaning tools outside, a roar of engines echoed from the road. He turned around, and .20 military trucks rolled into his street, one after another, stopping right in front of his house. Neighbors came out, staring. Soldiers jumped down, standing in perfect formation. Then a decorated general stepped forward, his coat dripping with rain. "Are you Michael Reed?" he asked firmly. Michael nodded, confused. "Yes, sir." The general saluted sharply. "You saved Sergeant Turner and her daughters. She reported your actions directly to command. You went above and beyond duty, despite being out of service." Michael was speechless. The general continued, his voice deep but filled with respect. "Those trucks you see? They're filled with supplies for veterans like you, men and women forgotten by the system. We're starting a new outreach program, and we want you to lead it." The entire street went silent. Even the twins, standing beside their recovering mother, stared in awe. Michael's throat tightened. "Sir, I'm just a mechanic." The general smiled. "Exactly. A mechanic who fixed more than engines. You fixed lives." Tears rolled down Grace's cheeks as she whispered, "Told you, soldiers never stop helping people." That day, Michael accepted. And what began as one act of kindness on a dark, rainy road turned into something far greater, a mission to rebuild hope for veterans who thought their story was over. Months later, Michael stood before a warehouse filled with those 20 trucks, now packed with food, clothing, and care packages for struggling families. The twins called him Uncle Mike, and every time they ran into his arms, he felt like life had finally given him a reason to keep going. He spoke softly to the camera one day, his words filled with emotion. If you see someone struggling, don't drive past. Stop. Help. Because sometimes the smallest act of kindness can move mountains and bring back the light to a life that's been dark for too long. He smiled, eyes glistening. If you believe in hope, in kindness, in doing what's right, then like this video and subscribe. Because together, we can make this world a better place, one act of love at a time. The screen faded to black with soft music playing, showing the message: one man, one choice, 20 trucks of hope. And thousands who watched that story didn't just like or comment, they cried, they shared, and they remembered what it means to be human.